Hello, I'm Beckham with AristaTek, and this is our Tier 2 Submit Quick Start Guide. This guide is intended for people who are new to using Tier 2 Submit or just need a refresher. In this guide, we'll cover installation, data entry, and exporting using Tier 2 Submit, as well as uploading to your Tier 2 portal. Feel free to pause the video at any point, or use the annotations on the progress bar on YouTube to skip ahead. If you need further information on a specific topic, see the rest of our playlist for feature-specific videos. Installing Tier 2 Submit. In this section, we'll go over installing the latest version of Tier 2 Submit, as well as accessing help and support resources. First, navigate to your jurisdiction's Tier 2 portal. If you've submitted Tier 2 data in the past, you should have received an email with a link to your portal. You can also find information regarding your Tier 2 portal on the EPA website under the State Reporting Requirements page. Once you've navigated to your Tier 2 portal, go ahead and click on the Help and Support button. Here you'll see plenty of links to all kinds of help that are both jurisdiction-specific and for the Tier 2 Submit software. There'll be a download link for Windows, as well as a link to the EPA page for Mac users. It's also important to note the Tier 2 Submit tutorial PDF that has a written version of this guide with much more information. Go ahead and download the exe for Windows. Once your file is finished downloading, you can now open it. Go ahead and click through the wizard. In this case, I accept the agreement, as I've installed this before. And you'll get a pop-up like this if you have a previous install. Go ahead and install your fresh copy. We can then launch the Tier 2 Submit software. You'll be greeted by a welcome message with some helpful links. And then you'll be greeted by a quick guide. We can return to these later by going to the Help section and clicking on About Tier 2 Submit or Quick Guide. It's most important to note that there's the Tier 2 Submit Help Topics. You can access this again by pressing the Help button and then opening the Tier 2 Submit Help Topics. This can also be opened by pressing F1. This window contains detailed information for each feature in Tier 2 Submit, as well as a glossary. The Entering Data section is a especially useful resource. I'd recommend checking here first if you run into an issue while entering your data. Entering facility information. In this section, we'll go over importing previous data, creating facilities, verifying location data, filling out contact and chemical forms, and finally completing and signing facilities. Firstly, we'll import previous data. Click on Import at the top of the screen. We can import two kinds of files, .t2s files and .zip. To import our chosen files, we can drag and drop them by finding the files in our File Explorer and then dragging them into the Tier 2 software. In this case, I'll grab the .zip file. We can also find the files by pressing the Browse to File button and then clicking on the file that we would like to import. In this case, I'll choose a .t2s file. You'll see here any errors if the files were not compatible. In this case, they're both identical files, so I'll just keep the .t2s. You'll also see a summary of the facility contact and chemical information, as well as the year that the data is from. You'll then see the import summary. This will contain all the information about the import process and if anything was not able to convert from the previous year's data to the new year. Now that the data is imported, you'll see red exclamation marks stating that files need to be signed. We can click on this and head to the date signed required to complete validating this. It's also important before signing a file to verify that the location information is correct. Importantly, the latitude and longitude. These coordinates are used by firefighters and law enforcement to locate sites and pre-plan emergency material, such as evacuation zones relating to hazardous chemical information. To verify the point, click on the satellite view and make sure that it's pointing to the correct facility. In this case, while it is on the correct address, it is not pointing to the facility. To move it, zoom in to the place that you would like to move it to, and then while holding Shift, click on the new spot. You can then say yes to make these changes. Now we can head down and sign the location. I'll mention that this is a test. Along from importing and validating previous facilities, we can also create new ones by pressing the plus button. We can duplicate from an old facility to save time when, say, you have 2 oil rigs on the same plot, so you only need to update a portion of the information. Otherwise, you can create a new facility. First, we'll fill in the address information. Once you've filled in the address, you can press the Set Latitude and Longitude from Address button. This will auto-generate a latitude and longitude from the given address information. Be sure to verify that it is correct. In this case, it is. We can then move on to filling in the ID and Regulations section. These may change depending on your jurisdiction. I'll fill them out now. If you have questions regarding the ID and Regulations section, be sure to refer to your Tier 2 Submit portal under the Help and Support section, which will contain links regarding your jurisdiction. We can then fill out the Contacts section. When doing so, we can select contacts from other facilities in case they happen to share contacts. In this case, I'll select these two as tests for emergency contact and owner and operator. We can also create a new contact. Importantly, when creating a new contact, click on the contact type first. This will mention the necessary fields that need to be filled for this type of contact. I'll fill this out now. Once you've completed filling out the contact information, you can press the Back to Facility button at the bottom of the page. We can then fill out the chemical section. Again, this may vary by jurisdiction, so refer to your Help and Support page when it comes to filling out a chemical. Once we've completed filling out our chemical information, we can then scroll down and press the Back to Facility button. Now finally, we can sign this facility to complete it. And press Back to Facilities List. Exporting a Tier 2 Submit file. In this topic, we'll verify our information, select the facilities for exporting, and save the T2S file. In order to export your T2S file, all facilities you're exporting will need to be green. Click on the red mark to see what steps need to be taken to validate the facility. Oftentimes it is just signing. For demonstration purposes, I'll delete the remaining red facilities. We can then click on the Export/Submit button. You can choose to export only the checked facilities or selected facilities with the box next to them. In this case, I'll export all facilities. We'll want to make sure to save this .t2s file in a place we can find. There also is a link to your state instructions when it comes to submitting this T2S file. Uploading a Tier 2 Submit file. In this topic, we'll use the Tier 2 portal to enter our submitter information, select our .t2s file, and verify that it uploaded correctly. So after we've exported our file, we can then navigate to the Tier 2 Submit portal. In this case, I'll be using the Wyoming Tier 2 portal. Make sure to use your jurisdiction's Tier 2 portal. Again, I'll point out the Help and Support link that contains the information most relevant and up-to-date specific to your jurisdiction. We'll begin by filling out the submitter information. Ignore the hash symbols that I'm putting down. These are just to mark it as a test. For the email, this email will be used to send your submittal ID and confirmation record of your submittal. be sure it's email you have access to in case you need to amend this later. The county section may or may not be included depending on your jurisdiction, or it could include a different name. In general, this is used to differentiate between areas in your jurisdiction. We can then click on Next. For the Upload section, you'll want to click on Choose File, and then find the T2S file that you exported. In my case, it's under Documents, Tier 2, and I titled it export.t2s. This may take a while to load and upload depending on the size of your submittal. Please wait until you see the Submittal Summary screen. Scroll through your submittal summary to confirm that all of your information has been included. Then, sign your submittal summary. You've now completed submitting your Tier 2 Submit file. Be sure to check your email for the confirmation, and save that confirmation in case you need to amend your submission. Additional resources. If you have further questions, be sure to check your Tier 2 Portal's Help and Support page, which contains written guides and contact info for helplines. The Help tab in the Tier 2 Submit software is a great resource for the Tier 2 Submit software. You can also check your state's Tier 2 submission instructions or our other videos for help. Thank you.